Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More. We're headed to the small laundromat. I don't think I've given you a view of this part of town. I've come to the car before, but I do videos on my Mark's House of Cars channel on my different cars, and this is an Insta360 mounted to my car, and then I also use this Insta360 mounted to my chest to do some of the laundromat videos. So we just collected money here a few days ago because I was on vacation, collected a ton of money. You can see we have some water issues still we'll talk about. And now we're collecting it just a couple of days later, and we're probably going to have very, very little money. So I'm curious to see how little there is. And it'll also be really interesting when we average out the charts, the sales charts at the end, to see how the last 2 weeks were. Last week looked amazing when the week was 10 days long. It's amazing how that works. This week might not look very amazing when we have 2 or 3 days. So we will figure all of that out. We'll see if there's any issues or problems. And yes, this is still for sale. I still have people asking me about it all the time. We've had a couple offers on it, but nothing good enough to accept yet. And I also have a sheet I made up that kind of gives some of the expenses, income, different ideas for the business. I updated that recently because we've been doing much better and had more sales, and that's been pretty cool. So I was also doing a live on my YouTube channel. While I was driving, I have a mount in the car where I can mount my phone and have a live. Again, that's my Mark's House of Cars channel. All right, first things first, we always check the change machine to see how much money is in here. That gives us an indication of how much money is in the machines. And when I was here on Tuesday, and it was late Tuesday, and this is kind of Friday midday, there was a ton of money. There's like $600 and some dollars in here, I think. Most we've ever had, but again, that's because we had a much longer week. So I'm not expecting a lot in here, and that's still pretty full of quarters. And then, yeah, there's not much in there. A little different. Now, again, I was here late Tuesday. There's nothing in that one. I want to make sure it's working. You always make sure it's working when something like that happens. Yeah, they took the money, and there's 4 quarters. Okay, but so basically Wednesday, Thursday, and just a little bit of Friday was counted for this, and those are our slowest days. The weekends are much, much busier at both of my laundromats. So I still want to fill this up, just in case. You never know. We could have a crazy busy weekend. I don't want to run out of quarters. I know people always complain about all the quarters I drop everywhere, and I don't pick them up. So I'm going to make a pledge, at least at this laundromat in this video, I'm going to try and pick up more quarters than I spill every time I come here. And eventually, we'll get them all. So there you go. I definitely picked up more than I spilled. All right, now let's see what we have in the machines and what those look like as far as people using the laundromat. Now, there were a few machines going while I was there. That's what's good. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a ton of quarters. Like I said, I was not expecting much. Oh, that one's completely empty. Yeah, this is, like I said, people rarely use this one during the week. They use it, but just not as much as the weekends. And so this is not surprising at all. And we did have quite a bit of money in here on Tuesday. I'm not going to lie, I was hoping there was, another empty one. I was hoping there would be more than this and not like completely empty boxes, but that's okay. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned it while I was here on Tuesday too. A gentleman stopped by, and not to do laundry, but he wanted to see the business and check it out, and I just happened to be there, and so I showed him around, talked to him about it, sent him figures and stuff, and he said thank you. Haven't heard anything since then, but like I said, there's a lot of interest in it, but it is kind of a challenging business. It's in a small town, Kersey, Colorado. Well, that's one reason why people don't use the machines, if people leave their bad laundry. So I'll come back and I'll clean that one up. I also got pretty allergic in here, so I'm guessing someone was washing horse blankets. That's usually what happens there. Oh, that one didn't get used at all either? Wow. A little bit, okay. Was there even $3 in that one? You need $3 to use them. So apparently nobody used this laundromat at all. See, that looks like $3. So it got used once. I'm making a very good sales pitch for people to buy it. But I was saying, it's a little bit challenging just because it is in a small town. It's a small laundromat. Does have the apartment next door, does have a shop which can run out. But it takes probably, it would be ideal for someone who lived in the town and wanted to, live in the apartment or something or keep track of it and they could stop by, real quick, a few times a week. But it's a little trickier for someone who's outside of town like myself to come in here, so. But it still could be a pretty nice little investment. Technically, you've got 3 units. Well, I mean, almost 4 units if you count the car wash separate from the laundromat. It's pretty hard to find a 4-unit property for $400,000 anywhere in Colorado. All right, we'll check the car wash too. And then, yes, I have people stopping constantly to look at the car whenever I bring in. So it does help with marketing a little bit. Could definitely help with marketing on the liquor store. We have a bunch of water there still. We need to clean out the drain there. I thought one of my other guys had done it. I don't think he did. It's actually not decent amount in the car wash. But I've got someone else who's working with me who's doing a great job. But we've got them chasing their tail doing so much stuff right now. So I have them on the list to do that, but I was not surprised it wasn't done yet. He's helping with the liquor store, with flips, with laundromats, all kinds of stuff. All right, so that's the car wash with 72. This is the dryers with 103. Wow, that's not very much. There was hardly anything in the washers, too. And we almost always have probably, I'll show you on the chart, usually twice as much in the washers as the dryers. And that was the top loaders, and then here's the front loaders. There's almost nothing in the front loaders. God, we had more in the dryers than the washers. That's really weird. Never had anything come close to that. But we'll show you that chart here. And I'll check the lint trace. The bottom ones I can guarantee don't need it because there was no money in them. But we'll check one just in case. And a lot of people say these need done every day. Yes, if you're in a busy laundromat like my other laundromat, we do them every day. I have a dedicated cleaner. Definitely needs done every day. This one, not so much. As you can see, that one's not even close to being all the way full. And we do leave them unlocked, so customers can empty those themselves. If they're in there and someone forgot to empty them, I don't know who would ever do that. They can always dump them in the trash, which does happen on occasion. And actually, when we took off the locks, because they used to be locked, or the old ones, the old dryers, we put these in locked, and some people are like, hey, if you would just unlock those, I'd be happy to empty them myself if they're full. Okay. So we made sure these didn't have any locks. Yeah, there's nothing in that. This is a much easier way to do it than by hand, and much less messy too. I used to do this, just kind of dump it in the trash, and then there's lint dust everywhere, and then you're sneezing lint dust all day, and I'm pretty sure it's probably not very good for you. I did start wearing a mask, but then with this, you don't need to. I know it's satisfying for some people to watch this. It's slightly satisfying even for me to watch it, even though I watch myself do it in person. I gotta watch it again. And then, one of these washers, too, I think someone had left a carton of cigarettes in their clothes, and it had just left discards all throughout it, so I cleaned that up, too. All right, here's our sales chart, and this shows the sales chart from the very beginning, June 23, to now, which is March 25. It's crazy I've had this that long. And this also will show us the really cool looking chart we did on Tuesday when there was tons of money in here. So then we'll show you the chart after we update it and average out the last 2 weeks. It will look slightly different. But like I said, things have been improving. We have our down week once in a while. Usually something happens like the power goes out or the pipes freeze or, some kind of issue. But for the most part, we've been seeing an upward trend, especially this year. As you can see here, we're breaking quite a few records over and over again. That was our record. And then that was last week, our massive record when we counted 10 days instead of just 7. It's very easy to set a record when you do that. But you can see we had a lot of cash collected, a lot of money from the washers, a lot of money from the dryers. Car wash had quite a bit of money. Vacuum had very little, as always. And now here's a chart after we averaged out the last 2 weeks, and we'll show you what our totals are. So a little different there, 421 for each week. Cash collected 365, washers 227, dryers 137. So that really, really good week was when our top loaders were not working and everybody was forced to use the front loaders. And I'm still wondering if that's why we had such a good week, because they're a little more expensive and they honestly work a lot better. They're more efficient. And that could be something we consider, is just getting rid of those top loaders completely. But I know that people really like them. Some people love them. So it's hard to, do that to your customers. So for right now, we're just kind of leave it as it is, but that's still in the back of my mind. Did not have a very good week, obviously, the last 2 days, but averaged out. It was okay, not as good as some of our weeks previously, but still not too bad. Definitely better than our worst weeks we've had lately. Definitely better than almost all of last year. So we'll see what happens this week. We'll post another video. We'll see what happens this week at the other laundromat. We'll post that video. We'll have updates in the liquor store. Maybe we can get our temporary license soon. And then we'll have updates on our flips and commercial properties as well. And here's some of the data, just if you want to see it by week laid out for those data people. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.